An important part of day-to-day work with Rill is bookmarking and sharing, either sharing with your colleagues or just making it easy for your future self to get back to a particular view. Sharing itself, very straightforward. You can copy the URL directly from the browser, but for a point-and-click workflow, you click on Share, you click on Copy URL for this view, and then if I open up another tab and post that link in, that's going to take me straight to that kind of minimal view that I had before. Now the Explorer itself can have a home bookmark. If I click on the home icon there, if I'm an administrator, I'll be able to set the home bookmark, or I can click Go to Home and be taken to a kind of default view that's a good place to start. And I can also click on the bookmark icon and see all the bookmarks I've set up, and I can have as many bookmarks here as I like, split into my personal bookmarks under Your Bookmarks and any number of shared bookmarks under the Manage Bookmarks created by the project admin. So I can click on any of these and go to a different view of the data, and that's going to include, for instance, whether I was in pivot table mode at the time that I set up the bookmark. So it's storing the entire configuration. How do I set up a bookmark? Well, anytime I'm on an Explorer or on the pivot table, I can click on the icon and bookmark the current view. And then I can say My Bookmark, for instance. And this is just my quick demo in the description. I tell it whether it's a personal bookmark or whether it's a managed bookmark if I have permission to administer those. There's a couple of settings we'll talk about in a second, but I can just save that as is. And there is my bookmark with the quick demo description now showing up in the list. So what were those two other settings about? Well, one was about setting a filters only view. So I can go to the Ohio weekly view, and that's taking me to this view of the page where I've got the device region filtered on the Ohio there and weekly data. But if, for instance, I was in a pivot table view, like this one here, and I applied that bookmark, it doesn't change the configuration of the screen. It leaves me, for instance, in pivot table mode and only applies the filters. So saving filters only is a way of saying maybe there's a category or a dimension that I'm particularly interested in or responsible for, so I just want to be able to apply those filters quickly. And the other option in that list was absolute time ranges only. And that is when, let's say I was investigating a spike. So I go to the spike in the data, and for the spike, I wouldn't want just the last 24 hours because in a week's time, that time range isn't going to include the spike anymore. So I want an absolute time range, and when that loads up, I get what's configured as a custom time range here, where it's been set up in the time picker instead of, as would be the normal, a relative time range. So that's bookmarking and sharing. Very useful, very popular. I do recommend taking your favorite pivot table, taking your favorite selection of dimensions and so on, and having those saved off as your own personal bookmarks.